And the prayer and the revival that I've seen through this, people openly talking about their faith and talking about God and how amazing He is.
Christmas is on the way. However, so many small businesses are still reeling from the impact of Helene. We know you want to help your community, so Light on Recovery Mountain Christmas is highlighting businesses that are still recovering and need your help. We're going to help you check off your Christmas list and help these businesses too.
Hey, it's Brian with the Light FM, and today I'm joined by Melody Kobernick from Key City Antiques. Melody, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for doing this for businesses. We really appreciate it.
Oh, of course, it's our pleasure. Tell us about Key City Antiques.
So Key City Antiques was started in 2013, but it's actually a second generation business. So my parents started their first antique mall in Black Mountain in 1989.
Wow.
And then I had the opportunity to open my own business in 2013 and took that opportunity. So we have been, as a family, in business in Black Mountain for 35 years. It's been a labor of love and definitely a passion. It's something that's in my blood. But it's not so much about me, it's about my dealers who rent space from me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the largest antique mall in Black Mountain. We have 20 dealers in our building who depend on it for their livelihood and their income. And so I'm honored to represent them and to give them a means of making an income and having an impact on the community.
Wow. What of the 20 different vendors and folks that you house there in Key City, what are some of the different types of items and things that folks could expect to find when they stroll through Key City Antiques?
Oh, we have everything under the sun. We have something for everyone. We have everything from vintage Pyrex and collectible dishes. We have Indian artifacts and World War II memorabilia. We have a lot of collectibles like comic books and figurines, action figurines. I mean, we've got clothes, we've got new stuff, we have garden, we have home decor. I mean, we've got everything you could possibly imagine and then some.
Yeah, that's awesome. And great for this time of year as well. How did you guys fare through the storm? I know parts of Black Mountain saw some flooding and some damage. How did you guys fare?
So the building itself did have some water damage towards the back. So we've been dealing with mold and getting wet carpet out and such. We did have some water get into the electrical, so we had to get an electrician in to stop that from making it worse. I actually live in Barnardsville, which was hit pretty hard as well.
Yeah.
And so my house was damaged, my horse barn was damaged, the business was damaged. It's been a long road to recovery, but we're definitely making progress. And God has been so amazing through all of this and blessing us and just showering us with unexpected gifts and grace that we couldn't have anticipated coming through the storm.
Yeah, certainly. On that, Melody, does anything particular stick out in what God does? Do you have an example that just sticks out of your head of you? I'm always going to remember that God did this through this storm.
The way the communities came together and the way the churches led the charge. You know, the churches were the first responders. They were the first ones on the scene who were getting supplies to people who hit the hardest and getting donations in. You know, churches near and far were collecting and bringing in much needed supplies, food, water, blankets, clothes. The churches are really what led the charge, and God worked through that. And God, I mean, it was God who did that. Before any first responders could even make it here, churches were supporting people. And, you know, people who had lost everything were still out there supporting each other. And that's just God at work and his blessings, his grace, and the way he supports us. And the prayer and the revival that I've seen through this, people openly talking about their faith and talking about God and how amazing he is and what he's done for people who had lost their faith or fallen away from the church and had kind of forgotten about God. It's easy for us to forget how good God is to us during the good times.
Hmm.
And it's sad that we have to wait to the bad times to call out to him. He listens to our prayers. And as beautiful as it's been seeing us come through the storm and how people have called out to Christ and asked for his blessings, I can't help but wonder what would have happened if we had prayed before the storm, though.
Wow. Yeah.
And if God would have done what he can do and dissipated that storm before it ever came on land.
Hmm.
We wait till the crisis to call out to him when we should be calling out long before.
Yeah.
We should call out every day.
Mm.
We should be praying to him. He knows what's coming. We don't. And so we lose our faith when things are good. And he allows bad things to happen to us to bring us closer to him. And it's a shame that it has to be that way when we should be calling out every single day before it ever gets bad.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And it's our prayer moving forward that that's the new normal now, that folks will know
Yes.
where they can go to and what they can rely on and have a place to point to when they are expecting the worst and preparing for the best and knowing that there's a sense of security in calling out on Christ on that. I'm right there with you on that. Talk about your recovery process. I know you said it's been tough, but what's that been like for you, your vendors, and your business there and personally there?
For me, it's been just a showing of faith and love. I've had friends and family step in to take care of me. It's more for me, it's about my vendors. And we had some of them who were hit very hard. One in particular, her house was very heavily damaged. Her son and grandson were in Swannanoa. They lost everything.
Mm.
And so for me, it's more about helping them. I'm okay, but I want to help them. They depend on the business for income.
Mm-hmm.
And October is typically our busiest month of the year. That's when we make the majority of our revenue that gets us through the wintertime. And for the first month of October in 35 years of business, none of our dealers made enough to cover their rent.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so bad as far as business. We're not even able to open full hours because I can't afford to pay staff or be there myself and not make any money. I mean, I hate to say that, but it is about money. It's business. And so the recovery process is still gaining momentum, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And as more people come to town, we start to see more business. We're hoping that we'll be able to turn things around and be able to survive the winter. January, February, and March are the hardest months in the town of Black Mountain. That's when tourism is at its lowest. And the dark, the cold, the rain, the snow, that's our hardest months to survive. And so usually we have busy months leading into that. And I don't know if we will this year, but we're leaning into our faith. We're depending on God, and we're trusting that amazing tourists and people like you guys will help bring tourism in so our people can make it and survive through the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, our prayer is that this initiative is going to show folks that there are things to come and do, businesses to come and support. And just like you mentioned there with your 20 vendors, coming and giving business to these places is going to be a huge blessing this time of year for you folks, for your vendors, and for the local economy as well. We've talked to a lot of business owners that maybe weren't affected with any damage or anything like that, but just to help spike the economy so that those businesses can continue to support the community, provide jobs, and provide a sense of well-being and a place for folks to come is huge in the middle of all of it as well. So that is certainly our prayer, and it's good to know that that you guys are here. There's a big sign up on I-40 as you approach Black Mountain that says Black Mountain is open for business. They're wanting people to know, come on, we're ready to welcome it. So I was so excited whenever I saw that sign go up and know that that Black Mountain is starting to turn around. For folks that are wondering, y'all are going to be open through the holiday season. I know what's that like right now? What kind of schedule are y'all on?
So right now we are limited hours because we're still trying to get everything back up and running. So right now we are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5.
Okay.
We are hoping to expand that back out to Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. We will be open through the holidays. We are open on Christmas Eve as well, usually from 11 to 4. And then we are closed on Sundays. That's our family day. That's when we spend time with our families. So we allow everyone who works with us that day of rest. But we will be here. We're closed on Thanksgiving, obviously, but we'll be back Black Friday and Shop Small Saturday, normal hours. We are going to try to open Shop Small Saturday from 10 to 5. So we'll be there for our normal business hours on Saturday. We just want people to come out, come browse. I still have dealers bringing things in and new items all the time. You never know what we're going to have. It's constantly changing inventory and just so many treasures that you can find in that building.
Yeah. Yeah. It's special, special place. I love antique shops, no doubt, because you never know what you're going to find. For folks that are watching or listening and maybe are planning trips, planning on coming up here and spending a weekend or starting to support these local businesses, how can they find out more information about you guys, about where you're located, what you offer, and they can find more information on those temporary hours, things like that? What's the best way for them to touch base with you and to connect with you?
So Facebook is always the most up to date. We post pretty regularly. Unfortunately, because all of our items are individual and single items, we don't have a website that can be shopped online.
Right.
But our Facebook is constantly updated, and that's always the best way to reach us. It's going to have the email, the phone number, and the messaging, of course, that you can send us. And then with those pictures too, if you see something in there that interests you, you can always reach out and check on it.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to do arrange for shipping in certain scenarios, and you can always see the most updated information that has our correct address and everything as well, and our updated hours also. And it's a great way. You never know what's going to be posted on there, what new items came in. We try to keep that up to date.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. As far as the Facebook page goes, folks just can search Key City Antiques. Is that right?
So there are two Key City Antiques.
Okay.
So we're located in Black Mountain, North Carolina. There's one in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. So if you go to our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Key City Antiques Black Mountain. And that's going to be us. And the profile picture is the keys on the chain with the Key City.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, make sure you're looking at the Black Mountain profile there. If you go to Facebook, other than business, is there anything that you guys need, Melody? Is there anything that folks can help out with?
Pray for my dealers and my people in my building. Like I said, we had one of our main members. She's also helps us support the business. She's one of the main ones that help us run it. She suffered a lot of damage, and her family did too. Her son and grandson lost everything. They lived in Swannanoa. She lives in Black Mountain. She also worked at Coach House down on 70.
Yeah.
And as you know, they had significant damage as well and have not been able to reopen.
Mm-hmm.
And so she lost her two main sources of income and her home all in one fell swoop one day. Mm-hmm. And so there's so many of my dealers who are suffering right now from damage financially, emotionally, mentally, from everything that's gone on. Be in prayer for them, that God may lift them up, wrap his arms of comfort and healing around them, and give them the encouragement they need to survive over the next several months as we go through this recovery process and rebuilding. And I'm so thankful for the volunteer groups who have reached out to her and to my other dealers and been able to support them and help them. I just cannot say enough about all the amazing groups that have come in here to help rebuild Western North Carolina. Never in my life have I seen damage like this, but I've also never seen such an effort on behalf of people who didn't know us and don't have to do this. Just out of the goodness of their heart and the call of God, they're showing up and helping us. And it's just can't put it into words.
Yeah. It's such an awesome thing to see. The church has truly been prepared for a time such as this, and it's been showing because everywhere you look around, you're seeing the evidence of God's goodness and His provision in the middle of all of the chaos and the destruction. And so we're thankful for that hope that we can cling to as well. Melody, I appreciate your time today. If you don't mind, I'd like to close this out in prayer today, okay?
Absolutely.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, and I thank you for Melody. I thank you for what you have done in her life and in the life of her family, the lives of her family, and through Key City Antiques, God, the staple that it has been in Black Mountain for over 35 years. And we thank you for watching over and protecting them throughout the storm, God, with the minimal damage that they've had. You've put them in a place now to try to help out with the recovery efforts and to be a place that can help spark that local economy to come back. And that's what we're asking for, God, is that you would just bring blessings on Key City and on the vendors, God, those that were affected tremendously in the loss of homes and in the loss of income, God. We ask that you use this time of year to just bless them, to wrap your arms of love and protection and provision around them, God. If you would to take this story and to turn it into a tool that's used to be able to point back to your goodness, and how when folks turn to you in the worst of circumstances and in the darkest storms, to see exactly what you can do and how powerful you are and how good you are as well, God. We thank you for your goodness and your mercy. Again, just bless this business, bless the folks of this business, and we put our faith and our trust in you to know that you're holding us and you're going to do something awesome after all this is said and done. We love you. We thank you for loving us, Jesus. And in the name we pray, amen. Melody, we certainly appreciate your time today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for your help in the recovery efforts for the small businesses affected by Hurricane Helene. To find out more about this small business, click the link below.